Hello and welcome to the Inquiry Project instructions for Apprenticeship Math 12. So I'm excited that you've made it to this part of the course. To me, this is probably going to be the most exciting part that I get to guide you through and to also mark. So what the Inquiry Project is designed to be is a student-led deep dive. That's what I'm calling it. So basically, inquiry is a big research, and an inquiry is trying to ignite a little bit of life into your studies by doing the studies on something that you're interested in. That's a really big part of this. So as you go through, this segment of the course, I hope that it can be meaningful and interesting. I'm hoping that this, out of any time in the course, is the time that you get to research something that you enjoy and something that you've kind of always wanted to do some more exploration in. So in the other parts of the course, I get to teach you really cool things, and they're laid out, because they're a part of the course. You have to learn trig, and you have to learn, business stuff. But now this is you, and that's exciting. So the Inquiry Project will involve, a lot of research, and the research is going to be twofold. This is a really important part. Lots of it is just you doing research online, finding stuff that's really interesting, and focusing on, whatever it might be, whatever topic interests you, and you're going to be looking at research, maybe reading books and doing different things like that. But then you have to do your own research and actually find some data and, do some inquiry yourself. So you're not just looking, online at stuff that other people have found. You have to find some stuff for yourself, and that's going to be pretty cool. So this is going to be split up into sort of like two sections. I want to give formative feedback. So you're going to create a whole rough draft. And you're going to submit that, and I'm actually going to mark that first. It's not going to have a grade, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But you're actually going to hand it a rough draft, and you're going to tell me, just like, sort of for planning ahead, like what you're aiming to get in this course. What mark do you just need to pass this course, or are you aiming for like 100%? And by letting me know, what you're trying to get, I can really help to guide you. So how does this Inquiry Project start? It starts with a topic that you get to choose, something that you're interested in. So let's take Mr. Kuchma, me, for example, first. I really like nerdy stuff. Lots of nerdy stuff. So I really like Nintendo. I haven't gotten into any other gaming system, but I own every single Nintendo system. Aside for handhelds. I wasn't really into the Game Boys. But I've been playing ever since the Super Nintendo came out. I didn't quite catch the Nintendo train, but I was interested in it. And so I played, Super Mario, and I played Super Metroid, and, all those like classics for the Super Nintendo. And then I got the N64, and that was like a huge deal. I remember playing all the amazing games on there: Donkey Kong 64, Mario 64, Diddy Kong Racing, like Vigilante 8, GoldenEye. There's just like so many. Oh, Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Was my absolute favorite, and so on and so forth, all the way to today where I have the Switch. And I mostly just play Smash Bros. That's been the game that I've loved the most. I really love Lord of the Rings. It's a book series that I've read many times. There's another series by Ted Dekker that I really love. Black, Red, White, not as well known. I love to travel. Me and my wife have been to Europe, and we've been to Mexico, and been to Hawaii, and we love driving, and we love like far travel, but then we also love close travel. And we live in Kelowna, so we travel in and around our area. I love Star Wars. I already have Depending on when you're watching this, it's going to be different. But I already have Rise of Skywalker tickets for opening day. I've followed this series ever since I was a kid. It was one of the very, very first movies I actually ever watched. And my favorite sport is mountain biking. I absolutely love mountain biking. In the summer, that's what I try to do as much as possible. I do have a bunch of kids now, so I don't get out as much, but mountain biking has always been a big passion of mine. So those are a bunch of interests of mine. Now I get to choose one of those topics, whatever it might be. Maybe it's Smash Bros. Maybe it's mountain biking. Maybe it's traveling. You know, somehow I'm gonna, research some of these things. If you're wanting to do something more practical, you could do a really cool business project. Huge inquiry into starting your own business when you graduate. And if you want some help with choosing a topic and choosing a question, I can help you. So once you figure that out, then you need to figure out your problem. What are you trying to solve? By completing this inquiry project, you're hopefully going to be, researching something very specific and how it connects. So, for instance, if I'm, doing it on Smash Bros, maybe I am doing my research on maybe I'm doing a research on, who is the best character, and trying to do all this data on that. And, I can look at other people's research, and I can do my own research and try to find out reasons why that might be the favorite one. And my favorite character has always been Samus. She's never really been one of the top characters, but, maybe I could prove that she actually is one of the top contenders. And so then once I've kind of got my problem, then we're going to be dividing the project into 3 big parts. Number 1 is the introduction. Number 2 is sort of your main body, where your data, your results, your methods, all of that's going to occur. And then you're going to have your conclusion. So each one is very important. And I'll go over the marks on this afterwards. But there is a rubric on the course page that you can check out. So in the introduction, you have to bring forward your topic, your question, your problem. And then you've got to create your own hypothesis to, what might be the answer to your question. So, if I'm saying, Samus is the best character in my hypothesis would be Samus is the best character in Smash Bros. Ultimate. And so I have to try to prove or disprove that fact. In your main body, there's going to be 2 sections. And again, I already mentioned this before, but you're going to have to complete a lot of your own research. There's going to be some background information that you can add into the introduction. But once you get to the main body, give me some data. There can be tables, there can be graphs, things like that. But I'm going to want to see some online research that you've pulled from online. And then you have to do some personal research and do something yourself. So how you can do your personal research is going to be up to you, but it's going to be really largely depending on what your project topic is. And then once you have your personal research topic, then you can start looking into, okay, if I want to do Samus, I'm just going to use that example. I'm going to have to look at this video game. I'm going to have to really dig around and find out all the data, the frame data, and all this data is online. I can look it all up, boom. But then I'm going to actually have to do some tests myself. Maybe I'll play online and, use this character and see how good I do. And then find out other really great characters that people like, and then compare it and see how well I do with those characters. So this is where, all that research is going to happen. You're going to provide all your data. You're also going to show your methods. So how did you get your data? That's going to be really important. And then your findings can be, in a graph. They can be, in charts, a picture. Maybe you want to take some pictures of whatever you did. And that'll sort of wrap up the main body. Then in the conclusion, you talk about your findings. So you don't really analyze anything in the main body. That's left for the conclusion. So once you get to the conclusion, that's where we analyze everything that you did. So That'll include, you know, how did your hypothesis tie in? Did you prove your hypothesis? Did you disprove your hypothesis? How did your data work? Was there bias? Did you make a mistake? Did you have to correct it? Maybe your whole project, all your research like failed. And it was, I know that in university, I had to do this huge project on this worm growth, and I forgot to feed the worm, and it died. And I was so mad. I was like, I went to my lab instructor, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. My worm died because I forgot to feed it. And they said, oh, well, you're going to do your whole lab and talk about why it failed. And so that's what I did. Hopefully yours doesn't fail though. So anyway, that's sort of what this project is going to be about. I'm going to make another video here, screen sharing and sort of walking you through the rubric so that you know exactly where it's being graded. But I do expect pretty high levels of work on this. I want it to be really organized. I want it to be, consistent. I want it to be robust. I want it to, have a lot of, great content. And I want you to be passionate about it. I want to be able to tell that you are interested and had fun doing this. So there you go. I will be back in a moment with part 2.